Hey, you guys. So I guess I'm on my part two of my birth from maiden to mother, and my baby's birth. I'm feeling a little wound up right now, to be honest. I just tried to put my baby down for her second nap of the day, and she literally fought me. There was like biting involved. It was one of the most challenging moments of motherhood so far for me. So I'm just like a little like charged up from it. But maybe it'll help if I talk about our birth because I'm just like kind of mad, kind of sad, kind of all these other things. So, anyways, my doula came to get me from the like public waiting room, which was good because there was another person in there like on the opposite side of the room who looked to be very sick, and I was like, I don't really like want to be close to someone who's sick right now because I'm in like active labor. So she came to get me, and we went up in the elevator to our room and just kind of hung out. And I just kind of worked through my contractions and, just kind of went with the flow. I had been doing hypnobirthing, like meditations, for pretty much my entire pregnancy. Also, for those of you that don't know, I'm studying to be a childbirth educator, so I'm like very, on the up and up with these things. So that felt good to like put my knowledge into practice. Um, but it was also kind of hard because, I was kind of like the witness that like was like, oh, this is what this means. Oh, okay, this is happening. I knew that would happen. Or like, oh, it was hard to just stay into the moment for me. And there were times like there was a moment later in labor where I like knew that I was like pretty close to fully dilated, and I like almost like got out of the zone to be like, oh, cool, this is happening. Like, so it's kind of like a blessing and a curse, when you know a lot, it's great, but if you know too much, like maybe it kind of hinders it a little bit. But anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself. So, yeah, I used my birth ball. I just kind of rolled around on the floor a little, like using the birth ball, like on hands and knees. I changed positions a lot. My room had a shower, which was pretty nice, so I used that. But at this point, my water still hadn't broken. And also, I had requested like minimal cervical checks because to be honest, I'm a survivor of sexual trauma and just I don't really like cervical checks, even yearly for, cervical cancer checks, pap smears. So I was like, listen, like getting into that discomfort and like that mindset while I'm in labor, I think is really going to hinder me. So I said, like, please, like, let's keep this to a minimum. So they wanted to check me every once in a while. And luckily I was able to be like, yeah, no, like, hit the streets. I don't want that. And oh, I should mention, my midwife and her team, they didn't really speak a lot of English. So luckily, my doula was there who speaks Khmer, which is like the language here in Cambodia. Um, so it was like kind of nice because I like couldn't really understand what they were saying, which maybe for some people that's not nice, but for me it was just kind of like ignorance is bliss because I could be like, oh, I don't know what you're saying. See you later. Um, but on the other hand, like if I needed to communicate something, I had to have my like filter through my doula, which honestly, like my doula is amazing, and I knew that she had my back, and we have like the same mindset, so I didn't mind that at all. Um, yeah, so basically, they thought when I first was admitted that I was gonna like pop this baby out right away, but that's not what happened. I think I checked in around 8 a.m. and I had been like in my, early active labor for a couple of hours. I think I'm at this point by 8 a.m. I mean. So, for me, because when you're in labor, it's kind of like a drug trip. Like you don't really have any concept of time. I was just kind of in the zone as much as I could be, just going with the flow, following, like riding the wave, so to speak. And every once in a while, the midwives would come in and be like, "Hey, we want to check you." And I'd be like, "No." And they'd be like, "All right, see ya. Let us know if you need anything." Um, which I know is like super different from a lot of people's births. I recognize that, like I said, as a future childbirth educator, most people just kind of go with what the doctors or nurse or midwife tells you, like what they want to do. But I was feeling pretty confident that everything was good. I wasn't, having any like warning bells go off. Um, and yeah, like the only thing was that my water hadn't broke. So I kind of got to the point where I was like, I'm feeling like I need to push. So I was like, okay, maybe we should do a cervical check. And they were like, listen, you're not dilated enough to start pushing, so don't push. And that kind of like, I don't know, it went against like my intuition because I was like, listen, if my body is like having these urges to push, I feel like I should just go with my bodily urges. I shouldn't like try and, stop traffic to just because I haven't fully dilated, like something I should just let it happen because, when you're in the pushing phase, it's not really like you should be pushing. Like a lot of people say you should push like you're pooping. No, you actually shouldn't. You should relax and let your body do the pushing for you because it's like a reflex. Like there is no way to stop that. At least not that wasn't my experience was there was no stopping this. So I was trying to stop it, but in the meantime, I started like pooping a lot. And I'm not shy about pooping, guys, so I'm just gonna tell you, I was like literally could not stop pooping. Every contraction was just like poop, poop, poop. So initially they thought, okay, she's really close. Let's get her into the delivery room. And my room was right beside the delivery room. Um, but then I just wouldn't stop pooping, and I ended up like going to the bathroom in the delivery room and just sitting on the toilet for over an hour, just like nonstop pooping. And after a while, they were like, "Okay, maybe you should just mosey on back to your room and let us know, because clearly you're not there." So I went back to our room, literally just kept pooping, like just back on the toilet, nonstop pooping. And I was worried about it because, like, I was having problems with hemorrhoids. So I was like, oh my God, like my hemorrhoids are going to be like out of control. So I was worried about that. I was worried that they told me I shouldn't be pushing, but I was like, this urge is too strong to stop. Oh my gosh, my baby's up again. Ah! Okay, the urge to push. D. I'll talk to you guys in part 3. See ya.